Hey y'all, it's Sean from the Craft Print, and today I'm showing you guys how to make this glam multi-layer cake topper with floating balloon effect. I designed it in Design Space using the print and cut feature. All supplies used will be listed in the description. So whether you're making this for a loved one or your party business, I'm walking you through every single step from designing, print settings, cutting, and assembly. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. These are the balloon images that I use on the cake topper. They're from creativefabrica.com. It's a subscription-based website where you get access to fonts, images, 3D crafts, needlework, embroidery, files, a whole lot of things. And you see here how much it costs. So these are the balloons I use. I'm just going to click download so that I can upload them into Design Space. All right, so we're in Design Space. This is all of the elements from the original cake topper. So you're going to go to upload. On the bottom left, you're going to upload image, browse, and then you're going to find everything that you want to use for this cake topper, which would be the images of the person and then also the balloons. So I'm just going to select one balloon just so you see the process. Click on open, and this is the balloon. Now I deleted the string because I didn't want to use, I didn't want to print that thin string. You're going to click on continue. It'll come here, and here is where if you need to edit anything, this is where you'll do it in Design Space. So right here, the select, this is just to click and select an area and delete. I'll show you what it does. If I click on the red, see, it just deletes that part. I'm just going to undo. We're going to select erase, and that'll give us right here, you see the eraser size. You can change it and make it bigger. When you come on here, this is the size. If I make it larger, this is it. And you just adjust the size to what you need. If you can't see it properly, you can just zoom right here. And then I'm just going to click on the string and go down and erase the entire thing. I'm just going to scroll just to make sure I got it all. And I did, because I just want the balloons. So see, I minimize it. There's still some more string here. So I'm going to delete all of that. And then at the bottom right, you click apply and continue. You're going to select the flat image and continue. Right here is where you name it. You could just name it red balloon. So in your uploads, that'll be what it's named under. You go to upload at the bottom right. And we're going to wait for that one balloon. Don't focus on these here. This is what I did already. I'm going to show you the whole process. All right, so our balloon comes in here. You're going to repeat the process for all of the balloons that you decide that you want to use, right? Now, you're going back to upload, and it's the same process for your image. Find the image on your computer. I have a few images here. So let's say I'm just going to use this as an example, but I already have the birthday girl's image. You're going to upload it the same way. Once the background is removed, you don't have to do any removing or the steps. Or if you want, you can utilize Cricut's background removal, right? So I'm going to cancel, and we're going to go back into here. So now you're going to go to text on the left. You see our text up top there? It's a little tiny. I'm going to zoom in a little. We're just going to make it a little bigger. You're going to type in happy. I'm put it in all caps. Now this is not the font. Unless you want to use this font on your cake topper, you're good to go. You can go right here to fonts at the top left. Click the arrow. And then you're going to search through all the fonts and find the one you like. We used backpack, so I'm going to type in backpack. This is the backpack right here. So right here, it says backpack, the name of the font. Cricut updated, so now when you're looking at fonts, they're going to show you what your text actually looks like in that font, which I love. So you're going to select it. And this is the font that I used on the cake topper. So right here, I'm just gonna minimize a little. What I usually do, you can just click on another text. I'm just gonna make it, when you're designing, don't care about the size. You're gonna design everything, even if it's huge. And when you're done, you'll group it together and then you'll change it and minimize it down to the size you need for a cake topper. So right here in all caps, I'm going to text birthday. So we have the top and then we have the bottom. Now, the first step is to put an offset on these letters. So now with these here, I usually do, when I do my layered cake toppers, when I have individual letters, when I do the offset, I do at least one offset on the first set of text, and then the rest will be all joined together. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. So when you do that, you want a little bit of space in between the text. So you're gonna go to letter space and just click the up arrow a little bit just to give it some space. Then you're going to go to the offset option. First, I'm going to change this to a light gray color so I know what colors I'm cutting this on, and this is going to be metallic silver. Then I'm going to click the offset, and when I click apply, it looks as though, I'm just going to move this to C. Everyone has their own individual, except for, you see the T and the H is actually touching, but I like this size. So this is another thing that I do. I'm going to delete that offset, and it's totally up to you if you want to do this. You're going to go to ungroup at the top right and space them out yourself. And that's only if you didn't like those two touching. If not, you can keep them together. I want each individual letter to have its own offset cut, and then I'm going to group these together and then give an offset to everything. My choice. So I'm going to click on the letter B, select offset. If that's the size I like, you can make it a little larger. It's totally up to you. I left it on the automatic size, and it was 0.25 or something like that. Let's go. And then click apply. And then change it to the color before you go to what you're going to cut. I'm going to change it to a darker gray, which will mean that'll be my glitter. I'm going to highlight that one letter. You can either go to the top right here, or you can right click and select group. Now that you have that offset size, once you use it the first time, it's automatically set for each individual letter. So you're going to select offset again, change the color, and then group it together. And we're going to continue doing those same steps for every letter. Now that I did all of these, they are grouped together. I'm just going to line them up closer now, because the next offset that I do is going to be all of them together. All right, so we have that there. What I'm going to do is highlight this entire thing, right click, wait, before I right click, I just want to show you something. You see the letter B over here where it's grouped? I'm just going to go over to the offset because I don't like that little piece that's going to cut. I don't want it to cut. So at the bottom right here, I'm going to go to contour. And this is where you can remove that little cut. I'm going to just click on that little piece, and you see right here, it disappeared. I'm going to leave the D. I don't mind the one in the D. The A is just so small. I don't want to see it. So let's just go to that layer over here on the right. Again, I'm going to click offset on the bottom right, and I'm going to remove those little pieces because I don't want it cut into the cardstock. I don't know why Design Space isn't showing it, but I selected it anyway, and it's missing. Also with the Y, it's such a little tiny piece. It doesn't look good when that thing cuts. I don't like it for some reason. Just pure preference. And we're going to do the same for this next one. Just remove it. And you just click out of it and just click on Design Space and you get back in here. So now I'm going to highlight the entire word, right click, and I'm going to group these together. So as I move it, nothing, gets out of the way. Now with the word happy, same process. I'm going to ungroup. First, I'm going to change the color. And it's good to change these colors to the color you're going to cut it on your cardstock or whatever cardstock you're going to choose, just so you don't confuse yourself when you send it to the mat. So we're just going to give everybody some space for their offset. Put the offset on, change the color just like we did with birthday. See how tedious this could be. And then click on that layer. And repeat for all of the letters. All right, so now everything is grouped together. I'm just going to put them together the way that I need them on the cake topper. That's a little too close. Highlight the entire word happy. You can right click and group or just go over on the right side to the layers panel. All right, so that's all the steps needed just for the happy birthday part. Now, as for her name, we're going to go to text. Her name was Niyylli. I did that font in the Catchland. Let's select Catchland. Let's remove this. I'm just going to move everything out of the way so we could just work on this layer here. So I ungrouped it up here. I brought the N closer where it's touching the dot on the I. So those two pieces are actually attached. And then this one, I brought it in closer so it's attaching, right? So now I'm going to highlight all of these. Then I'm going to go to the bottom, I'm going to hit combine. And then instead of going to weld, I'm just going to go to unite. Now this one, I did her name in red glitter. So we're going to change this to red. And then we're going to put an offset on this. And it's not going to be on each individual letter. We're going to make the offset where it's touching. I think I'm going to move. That's too big. Let's come in a little bit. Nope, come out a little bit. There we go. Apply. And this I cut in black metallic. So we're going to highlight those two layers together. So I'm going to right click and group these two layers together. And there we have our happy birthday layer. Now you're going to set this up how you want the letters to look. So I never try to make the word happy as long as birthday. You can. Happy will just be a little bit larger. But I like it on the two ends because that's where I'm going to allow the pictures to be. Right? And then her name, I want right on the top, and we're going to make it smaller so that you can actually see the happy birthday, but you're seeing the name kind of layered on top. Like that. So now this also depends on you, how far you want it to go down. All up to you, but layer it wherever you need it to be. Change the sizing. Don't worry about what size you need it to be for the actual cake topper. That's the last step. We're going to design it. It's going to be large. It doesn't matter. After we're done, you group it together, and then you're going to size it to where we need it to be. Now here is where, right here, I get the photo and upload it. So you're going to go to upload, or you could do that from the beginning. Go to upload images, just like I did with the balloons. I'm just going to go to see all, go to my uploads, and I'm going to select her picture again. Add to canvas. And then your two pictures, unless you're using two of the same pictures, we're going to do that. So you're going to size it of how you want it to be. So what I did, size it of how you want it to be according to the letters. I also wanted her a little higher than the letters, like about a little taller. So I'm going to move the birthday layer. You can just go to arrange, and I'm gonna bring it to the front, because how I layer it in Design Space so I could visually see how I want it. Right, so now it's in the front, and I would like the happy in the back. So now I just adjust her to where I want her to lay, like that. See that? And then the other photo was a photo of her standing up. I'm just going to duplicate the one that I had here before, but again, you're uploading it. I'm going to make it larger. And I'm going to bring her over here, and you line it, you size it up the way you want. And this one, I wanted on the front over the B a little bit. So you want to do like some kind of layering where some is in the back, some is in the front. It just looks really good on the cake toppers when you do it like that. So I'm just going to click on her name and arrange it back to the front. And it just so happened that her photo had her hand up like this. So it was like perfect for what I was trying to achieve with having her hold the balloons. So what we're going to do, we're going to highlight this entire design. You're going to right click and group, or you can just go to the layers panel to group it. You're going to select offset, and now you can look and see the size of the offset. I'll do a little bigger. I never know the number. I just kind of move the little dot along the line till it looks how, you know, the size that I want it to be. Click apply. Now I'm using this as the red metallic. That's what I did. So when I go into colors and I choose metallic, I usually try to choose a brighter red for me to remember that it's the metallic layer. And then for the next offset, I use glitter. Click apply. And when I go into the color panel, I just use like a darker, richer red, and that symbolizes to me that that'll be the glitter. So that's how I know when to put metallic or glitter on the mat. And all of my metallic and glitter cardstock is from the craftprintshop.com. The next layer is going to be highlighted again. Click on offset, and that's going to be another layer of black metallic. So we're going to leave that black and make sure it's the same black. So right here, this is all of the layers that we need for the cake topper in regards to the happy birthday part. Now, remember the balloons that we uploaded? You're going to arrange the balloons the way that you want them to look. So you're going to grab, I think I bought in, these are the balloons I used right here. It's 8 different balloons. I'm going to make a duplicate. We're going to bring it over here. We're going to move this down a bit. Oh, I didn't even group it. See, this is why we group things. So when you're ready to move it, you're not moving just an individual piece. So I'm going to highlight this entire thing. I don't know why some grouped together and some didn't. right click and group. I'm going to move it down just so I can show you the balloons, right? Now for me, this, I just sized it according to what size I think it would need to be in comparison to like the person. So I just thought about like if I have balloons, right? I'm just going to ungroup these because I had them grouped together. When you bring them in, they will be individuals. So if you have balloons in your hand, they're usually not like bigger than your whole entire body. So just average out around the size that you need or the way that you want it to look. I would say try to make the balloons a little bit bigger than the head, but not like too big. And then I knew you can arrange all of the balloons in any order that you want. If you want it to be like an arch, I also considered lining them up as an arch over the cake. I think I'll do it for another cake topper. When I do another design, I think I'm going to do that. I might do that for my sister, but that's in June. So now you're going to organize all of these balloons where you want them to be. And then I'm going to show you the balloons that are in the front. You're going to make sure they are the top layer because you don't want the string to be showing. When we put the string, it's only going to be from the bottom list of balloons. So we're going to line these up right here. So you see this one on the top, you can see the little, we don't want that. So you're going to go to arrange and move it to the back, send to the back. We don't want to see those. This one at the top, we're going to do the same, send to the back. This one as well, send to the back. So like that. You're going to leave a little bit of space, not too much, because I didn't want my acetate layer to be too far away. Like, okay, so this one. So for me, I wanted them lined up in a little bit of a slant on each side of the cake topper. So once you do this, you're going to highlight them. And then you're going to group them together. You can right click again and just click on group. Or when you highlight it, these two little squares up here is the group icon. Use how much ever you want. You can use more than this if you want. Just make sure like the top ones here are where you see a little balloon. What is that called? The tie. You're going to duplicate what you just grouped together, which are the set of balloons. Now, in order to duplicate, you can right click and then duplicate, or you can go to the top right here and click this plus sign. You're going to bring it over here and then we're going to flip it. Now, this is if you choose. I wanted it to be flipped. So you're going to go to flip right here at the top. You're going to flip horizontal. And then I put it here. So that's just how I wanted it to look. You can arrange your balloons any way that you want. Now, here's the thing. You're going to make a duplicate. Again, you're going to put this duplicate to the side. You're going to ungroup them. And then what I did just to make sure, I just lined them up all together. And this is because I want to have extra balloons, because even though we're going to flatten this, that's going to be our guide to layer. Don't change the shape now. You could just undo if you did change the shape like I just did. And this is for us to layer the balloons. I don't want just a flat image. We're going to layer them. And I just fan them out. And this is what you're going to do. I just do this to stay organized. highlight all of the balloons we just opened up from each other. You're going to duplicate them and just leave them on the side. You're going to do the same for the other side that you flipped. We're going to duplicate. You're going to just open them out, group them back together, and make another duplicate. So you have 2 layers of the balloons by itself, and these right here, we're going to flatten them. So first we're going to ungroup this and repeat the same process. I know it's a lot. Take it down if you plan on making one of these. And if you're a beginner crafter, give yourself some grace. It takes some time. I think I've been paper crafting for about 11 years. And before that, I've just always been crafting my entire life. So it took me some time to get here. So don't beat yourself up. Let me just undo because I changed the size by accident. And if you're seeing duplicates, it's because I have the original cake topper I did at the top for reference while I redo the whole process so I could teach you. You're going to group these together and make a duplicate. Now, it is more balloons than you need, but you always want more than you need just to use it. Make a duplicate, and then we're done with our duplicates. Now we're going to go back to the list of balloons the way we have them because we like this. And if you send it to print individually, sometimes you'll forget the order that it's in, and we need it to stay the same way because our back layer is going to be on acetate. So I'm going to highlight. Now we're going to move this out the way just so it doesn't get highlighted together. Your first group of balloons together, you're going to go down to the bottom and flatten that. And that's going to keep them all together when they print. And then we have our individuals to layer them. You're going to highlight this side and flatten. There we go. I'm going to just move everything out the way. So, oh, I didn't group these together. I don't feel like moving nobody individually. We're going to just highlight those together and put them on the side here for a moment. I did make a, no, I didn't. Let's move this up where we want it to be, right here, like about right here. You're going to highlight the entire page, not page, all of the layers, everything together. And then you're going to go to offset. We're going to create an offset. That's going to be the clear layer that's going to keep all of this together so that the balloons look like they're floating. We're going to make it big so that the balloon right here, this area, you want it to touch. A little bit bigger. Or what you can do is move it in a little closer. So let's cancel this. And we can move this up where it's a little closer. Now you're going to highlight everything. You're going to create that offset. And there we go, apply. And now that's around everything. That last layer, I like to change it to a random color, like a yellow or something, just to remind myself that this is going to be the acetate layer that I'm going to color. And this right here is everything we need to do in Design Space. I'm going to group it together because the back of the cake topper you want to cover up. So what I'm going to do, this dark red layer, not the black layer, we're going to do either this dark red or even the lighter red, which is the metallic. But I did the glitter. So the darker, richer red layer, I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to ungroup and just move them. See, I grouped this many a times. Let's move each individual one. Move that one, and this is the one that I want to duplicate. So this is the layer. I'm going to do a duplicate for. I'm going to go to flip, and then you're going to flip it horizontal because that's going to be on the back to cover up our stick. So I'm just going to line it up here. I'm going to go to arrange and just move it in the back so we don't see it. Because now we have all of our layers to cut. We're going to put them back where we found them. Send it to the mat, you know. Now, so with the balloons, you can just bring them here and just lay them in the middle because as we size it, it's going to change the sizes. But I like to see it exact. So what I would do is would ungroup. Y'all still here? Y'all okay? I know this can get a little bit boring. Then we're going to, I line them up where they go. Like over the balloon. You don't have to do all of that though. This takes a lot of work. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to highlight all my balloons that I need and just lay them in the middle. Because as we change the size, everybody is going to change. Right? Now you're going to highlight all of this together. You're going to right click and group it together. And then we're going to change the size. Now I want to reiterate something. When you put the balloons on, I'm just going to ungroup it for a moment because I just realized something that I did. Ungroup. Now that layer that I threw in the back, whatever's on the back, you know, that darker layer, hold on, let me click out so that I can select this layer right here. The one that I flipped, I'm going to arrange it to the front. I'm going to flip it back to the normal size and I'll show you why. Because that piece sticking out is going to make my width different. So I'm going to line it up because I want the exact width it's going to be. Now I'll group it together. If you don't want to group, you don't have to group. Just highlight it all. And we're going to bring it in. Look at that. We had it about 36 inches when we were designing. Obviously, you don't need a cake topper that big. I'm going to magnify the screen so we see it better. Or you can just highlight it. And at the top where it says size, change the width in there. I'm just going to highlight it and change it to 7.2. Right? And we're done. Let's take our back layer that's going to cover the stick. We're going to flip it back so you want it mirrored. If you're using a regular piece of cardstock, you don't have to mirror it because the front and the back are the same. I'm going to use glitter on this layer. So the back needs to be flipped so the glitter is showing on the back. Then you're going to go to save. I'm going to save as a new product, save project that you opened. I'm going to save. I came back to say as well, I also make duplicates of the image that I use right here. So you're going to choose the machine you're going to use. I'm going to use the Maker 4 today. You're going to click Make. Okay, so we have all of our layers. I'm actually going to print on the 11 by 17. Just because I want it on one sheet. And then we're going to send to Matt. Click Continue. Now I'm printing on the Epson EcoTank 16600. So you're going to send to printer. This is just telling you about the registration marks. I'm going to put don't show again because I already know. Next. You choose your printer here. Always select Use System Dialog right here. Click Print. And that just allows for your printer options to pop up. And when you're using larger paper or thicker paper, you're usually sending this paper to the rear feeder. So I go here to Media and Quality. I send it to the rear feeder, choose Photo Glossy Paper. It automatically defaults to the best quality. That's what you want. And then you're going to click Print. I always use the poster board setting. I'm going to click Remember Material Settings because every time you put a mat in and take it off, it will ask you what material is the next sheet. When you click Remember Material Settings, it'll keep this setting for every sheet that you load. So we're going to cut all of those and then we're going to assemble. Okay, so now we have all the designing done. If you're brand new to using a Cricut, you're going to just line your cardstock up within the square that they have pointed out for you on the mat. And we're using the blue mat. The green mat is going to be too sticky usually. Now, the blinking light, you're going to load your mat, press that blinking light. The machine basically scans to make sure you have the right size mat and you have the right tools in the slots for it to cut or score whatever you're doing. Here, we're cutting. Then the arrow is going to start blinking. You're going to press that arrow. The machine is just going to do its thing. It takes a few seconds before it starts because it's scanning again and then starts cutting. I'm speeding this up because we don't want to sit through the whole cutting phase. I'm only showing you one sheet cut, but you're going to repeat this for every color that we need. And on screen, it shows you which one is going to go in. When it comes to our printed page, I printed on the 11 by 17. You're going to line it up on the top left side of the mat, load it in the same way, and have it cut. These blue stickers you're seeing at the bottom of my paper is because my mat is old, rusty, crusty, and dusty. I didn't feel like cleaning it or opening a new one. So I just got those little stickers to press it down and hold it still. So we remove all of our pieces, and now we're ready to get to work. Okay, so here's all of our layers. The image of the birthday girl, I have it over to the side. We'll get to that eventually. So the last layer that I have cut is the acetate sheet. So I peeled it right off, and that protective backing, it stayed on. It has a protective backing on the front and the back. We're going to peel off the front as well, and it's going to be nice and crystal clear as the foundation for our cake topper. Now, the best glue to use on acetate sheet is the Beacon 3-in-1 Advanced Craft Glue. The best that I found. It's real sticky and tacky and takes a little while to dry, but it works the best. We're going to layer these 3 cardstock layers, and then that top one, that's the one that we flip that goes on the back of the cake topper. That's going to cover our stick and our glue. Like you see the little glue pieces, it's going to cover that all up and make it look nice and clean, right? So we're going to use the adhesive foam squares for the back, and that gives it a little bit of dimension when we're layering these layers. The adhesive foam squares, as well as the glitter metallic cardstock and the acetate sheets, can be found on the craftprintshop.com, which is my website. Now, the first layer on top, it's metallic. We're gluing it onto glitter cardstock, so we're going to use the adhesive foam squares, but we're going to reinforce it with hot glue. Anytime you're gluing anything onto glitter, you want to use hot glue as some extra protection to make sure it sticks. So lay those squares around, make sure you get the center because we want a nice foundation because we're going to be layering. Then you're going to remove those pieces. I'm not going to make you watch the entire thing. There's certain parts of this video is going to be nice and sped up because this is a long process if you think about it, right? So now we're going to get the glue gun, and I'm using Ryobi's glue pen. And with this hot glue pen, it has a smaller tip, so it's good to use on smaller projects. So I'm just going to put a dab on every square that's on the cake topper. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's seeing this part. Just dab it on there. Now, when you're going to line this up, hover over the cake topper to make sure you have it centered before you press it down. So usually my 4 fingers that are on the bottom are kind of holding the glitter cardstock still while I hover over it, press it down just to make sure it's centered. Now with metallic cardstock, if you know, you know. Those fingerprints can get on there. You have to be really careful, but you can use a microfiber cloth to clean it off and get those fingerprints off. In this case, you don't have to. I just wanted to show you guys that because we're layering on top of it, so nobody's really going to see it. Now this layer, I'm just adding the foam squares on the layer that we just put together. We don't need to reinforce this with hot glue because we're placing it onto metallic cardstock. Remember, when it's going on glitter cardstock is when you're going to need that extra protection with the hot glue. So this is how our 3 layers are looking. And now we're going to glue this onto our clear acetate sheet. Now, you know what we're using. the beacon glue to put it on the clear acetate sheet. Now, remember I said this is a very sticky glue, so we're just going to stick it on there, make sure it's centered. Now, put a generous amount. Don't worry about seeing the glue. We're going to cover up the back. Hover over. Make sure you have it centered, press it down. So with the sticky glue though, if it's not really centered, you have the opportunity to shift it around. It's not like hot glue where it dries so fast. So get it where you need it, leave it there. We're gonna repeat the same process with those flattened layers of balloons and glue it onto the top using the beacon glue. So now that you have that, we're getting there. This is our main foundation of the cake topper, and now we're going to work on our letters. So anytime you have layered letters, my best advice to you, line everything up together, make sure they're matching before you start any gluing or layering onto your cake topper. So I'm starting with the name, and this name is it's glitter on top of metallic. So you can use glue gun if you want. You can use the beacon, which is kind of sticky. I decided just for this, I'm going to use a glue pen. It works really quick and get in those grooves. I have multiple glues, but you know, everything is going to be linked for you guys in the comment section, in the description, actually, sorry. So don't worry about any of the supplies. I got you. You're going to know where everything comes from. Now, happy birthday, same. Line it up. Make sure everything matches. Both happy and birthday have a H, have an A, and a Y. And sometimes they're different sizes. So if you just randomly grab them and glue them together, you might choose the wrong one. So take your time, line them up, match them up. I'm using the beacon glue again because this is going to be glued on top of glitter cardstock. I know you're probably thinking this is very tedious, and yes, it actually is. So take your time, like I said with this. You don't want to get any of the sticky glue coming out onto the metallic because it'll make it look so messy. So be very careful and don't put too much. You're putting a light layer of that beacon glue on the metallic, then sticking it onto the glitter. After we're done the letters, we're just going to layer the images onto each other using the adhesive foam squares. Now with the first picture, it's the size where it can fit all of the foam squares perfectly. So I laid them down, layered them on top of each other. With this layer, I could fit two, but you see the leg area? I don't want it like flopping. I want it to actually have the squares on there. So I cut one of the squares in 3 thin pieces so that it can fit on the skinny part of her leg. And anytime you have a letter, number, anything in your cake topper, do the same. Make sure it fits, and you're fitting it where we are not seeing that foam from the front. We want it layered and clean and pristine. We're trying to make this look as professional as possible. If you end up layering it and you still see it from the front, grab a pair of scissors, trim it down so you don't see it. Now, we have to layer our letters onto the cake topper, not cake. I think I'm hungry, y'all. So lay them down before you start adhering them to the actual cake topper. Line them up, make sure you know exactly where they go. Then grab one of the squares, stick it on there, then place them in place. That way, 9 times out of 10, you didn't make a mistake. We don't want to mess up, especially when using metallic cardstock. We try our best not to have any mishaps because you'll see it in the cardstock. Like if we peel it off, especially a layer you're going to see it, you're going to see that stickiness on the metallic cardstock. Then you probably have to recut that layer and start again. Now, it's up to you how you want to layer them. I chose to have happy first, then the images, then birthday on top. You could put the images first, then the happy birthday. You can put the happy birthday, then the images. You choose. I like the way this looks because the images are kind of laying over the word happy, but then they're behind the word birthday. Now, for birthday, it's going to be a little different, but like I said, we're going to line them up. With the B and the I, you see they lay on her legs, which means they're a little higher than the letters, the R, the T, the D, and the A, because they lay flat on the actual metallic cardstock. So this is how you make sure you get this right. You see the difference? That one is flat, and the letter B and I, they're way higher. because the images are on foam squares, and then there's another set of foam squares behind it that's sticking it to the metallic cardstock. So this is what you do. You're going to use the hot glue to glue the letters on that are going to actually stick on your image of the birthday person, right? Stick those on, and then with the other letters that have to go on your cardstock, you're going to make sure you have the correct amount of foam squares layered on top of each other until it reaches the height of the B and the I, right? So I put one. I knew one obviously wasn't going to be it. So I put 2 layers together. I didn't peel that top half on to stick it on yet, but then I laid it in place to see if it'll equal up to where the other letters are, and it did not. So I put a 3rd layer, and when I laid the 3rd layer down, that was good enough for me where they look like they're the same. If you don't mind the height difference, the little dimension, go on ahead and do that. These cake toppers are up to interpretation. It's how you want it. So now with the R, you see what I was talking about, having that foam sticking out? You could see it. We don't want that. Clip it right off. You want to make sure it's layered, it has the dimension, but we're not seeing what's giving it the dimension when you're looking at the cake topper from the front, right? So you're going to continue with all of the letters that have to lay on the cardstock. Right there, there was some little glue. I just wanted to peel it off, but here you can see how it's layered. Also too, if you want your layers higher than each other, stack these foam squares on every layer. And I'm talking about the back layers we did at first. It's all up to you. And I like this because all of our cake toppers don't have to look the same. You do things your way, I do things mine. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so now we got to the end. You're going to glue the last 2 letters, or how many other letters you have on that image, and stick it on there with the hot glue. Now, when it comes to the name, as you see, birthday is higher than happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue the name, the bottom half of the name, onto birthday. So like I said with everything, line it up first so you know exactly where you want it. Then you start gluing. With this, you don't have to put glue on the entire letter. You're just swiping the glue across the bottom half of those letters and then sticking it onto the words. So once I got the glue where I need it, lay it back down where I wanted it. And remember, the glue, hot glue, dries quickly. So you're going to move a little bit quickly. If you're not ready for hot glue, you don't really use hot glue all the time, use the beacon glue, but you're going to have to hold it in place a little till it dries. But what you can do is use the beacon glue, put 1 dab of hot glue just to hold it in place for you, and that'll work too. So now we have the main part of the cake topper done, and we looking good. I don't know about you, but I know this cake topper is looking good. So now it's time to work on those balloons. Now again, we flattened those balloons, but each balloon, there's about 3 balloons on each side where you're going to see that tie piece that I was just pointing to. That's where you want your string to hang from. So we're only going to glue this rhinestone. I don't know what it's called. I think it's rhinestone string. It came on a spool, but of course I reeled it off. I purchased it from Michael's. I'm going to have all these things linked. I think you can find them. Not even think. I know you can find them on Amazon, so I'll have them linked there too. Now, only on the balloons where you're actually seeing the tie are you going to put the string. Now, when you're designing, it's up to you. I wanted like 3 of them hanging out, but you can have more if you want. You're going to take your glue pen or glue gun, whichever one you're using, and put a line of glue right by the tie piece and up a little bit to like the center of the balloon. You see how I have it there? Then you're going to line your rhinestone string. I don't even know what to call these things, but make sure the stones are facing forward before you press it down, because I was pressing it down. Sometimes it leans to the side, so you want to hold it to make sure it's to the front. Now, I measured this longer than I needed so that as we go along, if I don't like it, I could cut it down. If you cut it too short, you got to start over. So cut it where it's hanging past the cake. The cake topper. I don't know why I keep saying cake. I think I'm hungry. Now, repeat this for all of the balloons that you're going to have the string hanging from. For me, that's 6 of them. Now, also too, I just wanted to add, you don't have to line up your balloons the way I did. I just had that option. I had that option. I just decided to do it that way. That's what popped in my head. But you can align your balloons any way you want. Now with the string also, if you like it just hanging freely like that, do that too. I wanted them to be like bundled up together, and it was even better that her picture had her hand up, because the first thing I thought was, well, we can make her hold the string of balloons. Now, if you want to do this cake topper ahead of time and the person don't have it, see if you could get that person to take a picture with their hand out. If not, just put it right to them. You probably won't even be able to tell. Who knows? Now you're going to dab a piece of hot glue in the hand or the area where you want them to come together. Then you're going to line them up and make sure they meet together so it look like you're, you know how you hold the balloon string and it's bunched up? You want it to look like that. And you're making sure that the stones are facing forward. Once you do that, now remember, we did a dab of glue, right? You're going to see that little bunch of glue that you have there. I don't like that, so it's up to you. So that's where I put in the little mini bow. I dabbed glue right on top and put that little mini bow. I found this on Amazon, yes. And then it's up to you to do anything further with this bow, but I just wanted a little dot, like a little rhinestone, little diamond in the middle. I used the crystal glaze glue that's usually used for bling. I'll link that too. And I just had a pickup tool, and that helps you pick up the stone and not be stumbling. And right here, I'm just peeling off a little piece of the string of glue. I don't like to see the strings hanging from the glue, so I just clean that up right quick. Now these strings, it's up to you to have them. You could bunch them by the letter Y if you wanted to. I didn't. I just wanted one side hanging in the front of the cake topper. For me, I wanted it to hang in the back, like tucked into the layers. So I cut them short and then repeat the steps. And what we're going to do, we're going to have to peel back the cake topper. Don't be afraid to do this. You're going to peel back the glitter and the metallic layer, the red glitter metallic layer. Remember, we put glue, so it took a little bit to get it off. Just hold the other front layers together and peel it off, right? Then you're going to dab some glue on the inside, just like we did on the front, but just behind. And make sure it's low enough that where we close this back, you're not seeing a big glob of glue from the front. Remember, when people see your cake topper from the front, it needs to be perfection. All the layers, all the inside and stuff like that, no one's seeing that. So you can glob that glue however you want it to look, right? So then you're going to line it up where you need it. Now here, if you want to, before you get to the layers ahead of time, since you're probably seeing this video before you make the cake topper, I just made this off of just my imagination, right? And then decided to do the class. So that's why I'm doing this. But when you're ready to do it, just do this layer before you layer all the rest, right? So stick them together like we did. And then you're going to press back down the layers. But don't forget to add the hot glue to those foam squares before you put it back. The last thing you want is to make this cake topper for someone, it get to them, and the shit is falling apart. We don't need that, right? Glue it back, make sure it's good, press it down, and look at that. We're almost done. We're more than halfway done assembling. Look at how gorgeous this is. So now we're going to work on the balloons. Now, when it comes to the balloons, it's layering with the foam squares, and it's all about what you're seeing for these balloons. But the one part that you have to make sure you do is the balloons that are attached to a string, they need to be the highest level, right? So I went in, I didn't have any rhyme or reason. I just decided to, layer however. You're going to layer them. Make sure that top layer is the layer of the balloon. And the reason why is because if you have one of the balloons in the back, on the top, you're going to see the knot, and that knot isn't like attached to a string. So it doesn't look realistic. You understand what I'm saying? So I layered them on, and then when I got to the end, I realized that one balloon at the top right, I didn't like it just being flat, that one right there. So I decided to add a square and layer it, and that's where you'll see I put it there, but it's on the top, so you're seeing the knot and no string. See? That don't look cute. So I removed both of them and just redid it. So put down the top one and then the balloon with the string. We're going to add a foam square, add it on top of that. So you're only seeing that knot attached to the string. Also with the foam square that's attached to the rhinestone string, I did put a little bit of hot glue just to make sure it stays. And that's how it looks, you see? So only the balloons that have the knot attached to the string are the ones you're going to have on the top layer. So I'm just going to repeat this same process for the other side. Layer it however you want. Just make sure the outer balloons, the ones on the top, are the ones that's attached to a string. And look at how gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this cake topper. And I just want to thank my followers on Instagram because I made this. My nephew asked me to make a cake topper for his friend. And I just decided to go with this design. And I posted it and everybody decided they wanted a video. I don't know why I didn't record, but it was kind of a rush thing because I was going on vacation. But anyway, back to the cake topper. Now these acrylic sticks, optional. You can use the regular paper looking candy sticks that we use. But I would say to anyone selling this, go with acrylic cake topper sticks. They just look more professional. I got this from Etsy. I'm going to give you guys the link to purchase this as well. And she engraves your name on it. Now, peeling it off could be a headache, but you have the option to have them with the protective paper on it, or she can peel it for you and then ship it to you. When you're putting that cake topper on, dab a good amount of glue, put the cake topper on the stick. Then flip it over and press it down. We do it that way just to make sure when you're looking from the front, I don't know if it's just me, the cake topper is straight. Because sometimes I'll glue these things and it's crooked as hell. Now, we have our glitter piece that we flipped in Design Space to cover the back. Now, you see that white outlining? You want to make sure we choose the red layer because we want to make sure it's a little bit smaller than the back layer, which is the black. Because look, if it's the exact size, there's a possibility you glue it and then that white is going to show through the top. You don't want that. So you want it to be a little bit more smaller where it's not showing anything on the front because you see the back of glitter is white. You don't want that to be shown. Be very generous. Be very generous with this glue. Now, because it's sticky and tacky and it'll take a little while to dry, I added an extra layer, like just glob some on of the hot glue, just so that the hot glue can hold it in place while the rest is drying. Put a lot on the stick, a lot of hot glue on the stick. And this is to make sure we don't have to sit here and hold it in place all day until it dries. That way the hot glue dries instantly and that'll hold it in place while the beacon glue is taking time to dry. I don't know the exact dry time, but I would give it an hour. If you're shipping this out, do it the day before you need to ship or wait in advance just to give it, you know, good enough time. And look at this bad boy that we have created. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you subscribe, like, give me any comments, suggestion of cake toppers you guys want to see or other projects. Share this with a crafter who you think would like to learn how to make a cake topper. And I thank you guys for watching. Again, make sure y'all subscribe and head on over to the craft print shop for the best supplies this side of town.